when you go into marriage and you have high expectations because you know you've been putting in much efforts, but you are kind of disappointed, it is like the most painful thing in adulthood, because marriage is something that is like a forever union. Something backing out is very difficult. Hey guys, welcome back to Sahara Movies. I'm Lydia once again, and I'm your host for today. Today we'll talk about divorce. Damilola Mike Bamiloye's channel. He uploaded the second episode of Divorce and was good. In this episode, we saw a solution into the previous problem, and then there was another problem that we'll invert in the next episode. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe for more videos and more updates. So first of all, I'll talk about the in-laws. The marriage was introduced or was initiated by two mothers who felt like their children have known each other for a long while, so they will make a perfect couple. No matter how you know your children, they also know their friends, or no matter how you know your children's friends, they also know their friends better. Unfortunately, they went into the marriage and they are having difficulties. When it happens like this, the kids will start blaming their parents because you didn't give them ample time to study their spouse. Like, there was no time to really learn the traits of your spouse, whether you really want to spend the rest of your life with him or her. Marriage is a lifetime contract. I hear marriage is an institution you enter before you start learning. It's a lifetime institution. So before you indulge yourself, you should make sure you are making a decision that is worth fighting for. There are risks to everything, or there are side effects to everything, and the side effects should at least give you reasons to fight for, or reasons to fight against the effect. After the mother-in-laws were showing regret, or this and that, you need to accept your mistakes. They accepted that they did wrong. They accepted that they didn't make their children know each other before entering into the marriage. They accepted that they didn't involve God into the marriage. So first of all, in order to allow God to do his works on you, you need to allow yourself. You need to avail yourself. If not, you'll be using your own mind, you'll be using your own mentality, and that is not going to end so well with you. It's not going to have a perfect solution. But when you indulge God, when you involve God in everything, when you pray, wait for a response. Don't just assume. Wait for a sign. Don't just assume. You'll find his hand in everything. So I'm happy that the in-laws decided to think about everything and realize that they were at fault. They realized the mistake, and they were ready to fight for what they've started. They were ready to fight for it. I said something like human beings. No matter the position a human being has, he is not invincible. I don't know how I say it. Let me say, no matter the position a human being has, he can make mistakes. He can make mistakes. Yes, he can make mistakes. No matter the position, whether you are the president, whether even that's how come a president has board that, let me say, give him advice and all that. No matter the position you are in, even lawyers and judges, they make mistakes. But when you make mistake, you have to accept your mistake and then do the necessary. So they decided that we cannot solve this on our own. We have to leave it in the hands of God. We have to leave it in the hands of God. And that was the perfect decision. They decided that was a decision that they needed at that moment. They left everything in the hands of God. And leaving things in the hands of God doesn't mean you are just sitting down and you're relaxing. God, I've left it in your hands. God, I've left it in your hands. So God, I've left it in your hands. So no, you need to pray. You need to show effort. You need to show that you really want a solution to the problem. You need to pray. Do what is expected of you. Pray, fast. Pray and fast. That is all you need to do, because when you decide to use your own mind, it's going to swerve you. And that is what the in-laws decided to do. When I'm not married, but when you are in such a relationship, make sure your faith works for you. You need to make your faith work for you. In this movie, they made their faith work for them. they made their faith work for them. That's the whole point of the movie. Make use of your faith. Make use of your Christian faith. Else, what's the point of the faith you are having? What's the point? Like that, I'll say there's no point. So make use of your faith when you get into a critical or you get into a T-junction. So they left it. They spoke to their daughter Tonya. A woman and a man in a marriage, a man will always feel that he's the boss. A man will always feel that, yeah, I be the man, I be this, I be that, yes. But a woman, you have to be sober. Even if you were right, or even if you are right, if you want a solution, if you want happiness, you need to be the foolish one. Yeah, I need to bring this one. You need to accept that you are right in front of yourself, but you are wrong in front of your spouse. So that's what Tonya did. Yeah, she accepted that she had done wrong. She went to seek counseling. She went to seek counseling. She poured out her heart. Sometimes we need a good cry. Honestly, sometimes a good cry helps a lot. You are going through a lot and you want to play the big type. You need to cry, my dear. Crying heals. It plays a very unique part in your lives. Sometimes you need to shed some tears. When you shed some tears, it awakens your spirit. Yes, you realize that, yes, I'm ready to fight this battle. Crying doesn't mean you are weak. It means you have emotions and you need to express them. It doesn't mean you should cry in front of your enemies. Cry at your own time while you are praying. You are crying just to have a relief. So that's what Tonya did. She cried her heart out and she was ready to solve this problem. There was one I also noticed about this thing. I also noticed that it wasn't only Tonya fighting the battle. Tonya was fighting it. Her mom was backing her. Her in-law was backing her. Her dad was backing her. The counselors were backing her. You see, that is the whole point. When you make an effort, you get help. But when you don't make any effort and you relax, you just relax. Who should pray for you? You can also pray for yourself. So Tonya, even though when people pray for you, you see some changes, but you need to do it yourself. You need to put in the effort so that because you are the one going through, you know how to express your heartfelt pain to God. So I'm happy Tonya also indulged herself in the prayers. She seemed very devoted that no, she needs to work this out. This marriage needs to work out. And I like the spirit that Tonya expressed. Now that Tonya has moved to her husband's house, it's going to be very difficult. But who cares? That's not your point. Your point is you came to make peace. Your point is you came to make peace. Even if you are asking him, honey, will you eat supper? He tells you he will eat your supper. He's going to buy food from outside. Don't worry. The next day, cook. You came to make peace. So when he's doing anything to create confusion, it is not your problem. At the same time, you are showing effort in solving or making peace. You are also praying. You are also praying. I hope you understand this statement. You make your effort, you pray. You make the effort in showing action. At the same time, you kneel down, you pray, you fast. And that is exactly what Tonya was doing. Kole didn't understand because at that time his mind wasn't there. He thinks that he's right, he thinks he's the boss at the end, and funny enough, he was the one cheating. But he felt he's making the right decision. He wanted to travel outside. He wants to go and live with the woman of his dreams. He claims this marriage is worthless. Just imagine having all this mentality. You think of the solution. How are you going to solve this problem? This is a big problem and you don't even know how to start with the solution. But the only thing you have to do is pray. Just pray. That's your only job at that moment of crisis. Even when you're not in crisis, you need to pray. That's the only thing. Pray and leave the problems in the hands of God. He has a way of solving everything. And there was a part that after Tonya prayed, she had a dream, and it revealed to her that her husband has actually been involved in some funny dark world things. Apparently, the woman her husband was cheating was cheating on her with is the worldly woman, someone who has taken the heart, spiritually, she has the heart of the someone's husband. You just imagine that. So the prayers was able to reveal all this to Tonya, and I was like, this this is good. This is good. If she hadn't prayed, she would just be using her own mind to solve the problem, and it will have no solution. It will have no better solution. It will have no better solution. So I like what Damilola Mike Bamiole is bringing to us, like really, really sensible movies. It got to a time Kunle was really upsetting me, like when Tonya was making the effort and then he was doing long, he was being cold and all that. But I later understood it that, just ignore the odds, ignore the distractions. Yes, ignore the distractions. So Tonya completely ignored the distractions and took everything to God, and eventually Kunle came back to his senses. Oh, this episode was a complete solution to a problem from last week's episode, and I'm happy that we saw the solution, that we shouldn't use our minds to solve some problems. So some things are beyond us. They are way beyond us. They are way beyond us. Way beyond us. And when you're in such a situation, you should always picture the solution. You should always picture the solution. Don't picture how the solution will come about. Just picture the solution. So let's say you're having a tough time at home with your husband or something, and you want to make amends. You want to have a happy marriage again, but you are picturing how you're going to do it. How you wake up in the morning, how you serve him, it's going to be a long process. Pray and picture your solution. You picture your solution that you are happy with your husband again. So your mind is focused on it, your heart is focused on it, your everything is focused on it. But when you are thinking of how you're going to do it, it's going to be clumsy. So when you try this method and it doesn't work, you'd want to use another method. So while you pray, you picture the solution as well. So yeah, this is how this full episode ended. Tonye and Kunle, finally, they've come to realization that they belong to each other. Even though initially their parents made a hasty decision. It was quite hasty, and they have learned their lesson by going through this hurdle. So I think that next time, parents should be quite vigilant in choosing couples for their children. And even if their children feel they are okay to get married, they should give them ample time to make such decisions. Yeah. And also there was a part that I noticed when Tonya was praying after she had a dream and she woke up. Then the husband started screaming. There was this part I'd really recommend. Sometimes when you're praying, you shouldn't pray you shouldn't base all your prayers on prayers. I don't know if you get me. So when her husband fell and there was blood coming out from his mouth, the first thing she did was hospital. Yes, we know you believe in the miracles of God, but God needs to pass through someone to do the miracle. We should always bear that in mind. You are sick, you don't want to go to the hospital because you think God will do a miracle. He will do it, but he needs a career. I don't know if you get me. You always need a career to transmit what God wants to do in your life. God won't come directly and do the miracle. So I'm happy that Tonya went to the hospital first. That is where God can pass his miracle through. But if you decide to put things in your hands and then pray for him, you may not have the expect idea or expect advice, and you're going to ruin everything and eventually blame God. So I'm happy at that part that Tonya went to the hospital and took her husband to the hospital. That's how come her husband got healed. Now let's go to the app next of this episode. In the app next, we see another problem, but in this problem, from what I saw, it's like the problem is not from the couple, it's from the parents. The problem is not from the couple, but from the parents. There's a time in life that parents don't agree to who we want to marry. They don't agree. And in the process of disagreeing, they show hatred. Yes, they show complete hatred. In the process of disagreeing, they show complete hatred. That's what the aptness look like. Looked like the mom wanted her son to marry a village girl or something. Most women would want their sons to marry people from their own town. But you cannot force a heart to do something that it doesn't want to do. He marries someone else. So she tries her best, her possible best, to sabotage the relationship. So we'll see how the couple are going to come through this successfully. This time, the problem is from their own mother, the in-law herself. So we'll see how they are going to maneuver and come out successfully. Let me know what you think about the episode. What are your experience so far? Have you experienced any hurdle in marriage and you'd like to share it with me? I'd really love to hear your story as well, and other people would also want to hear what was your solution. How did it help you? Let's know. Let's interact, and as usual, I'll reply to every comment. I'll end here for today. My name is Lydia once again. Till I see you next week on my channel for the review. Take care of yourself, and it's bye for now.